We're at Fayetteville Comic Con with a lot of wonderful guests this weekend, and I have our next guest all lined up. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, my name is Rudat. I was a GI Joe designer at Hasbro Industries from 1982 to 1987. Plus, I worked on other various toy lines like WWF, and just all around different toy lines.
That's so cool. How did you get into designing toys? I know.
Well, it became getting to design toys. I was basically hired by Hasbro to work in the art department for like 7 years.
Okay.
And I did all kinds of graphic work, instructional work, retouching work. But I was also the only guy in the company that worked on figures of any kind.
Okay.
And in 1977, I think it was, I was asked to come over to research and development. Those are the people who designed the toys for Hasbro.
Wow.
And so I started working the arts and crafts and whatever else came along. Probably in about 1979, I started. They were doing a presentation at Hasbro, and that's when you come up with different ideas.
Right. That's like the
for
pitch.
toys.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to do is I like the military and different things like that, and I took a rough truck, I painted it olive drab, and put GI Joe stickers all over it, and I showed this to management, and they weren't too reluctant with going with that at that time. You know, they had taken Joe and put it aside for a while. You know, those were the much larger figures. But there was another person. That he was the VP of boys. He had the same idea.
Oh wow. You were just like on
Okay.
the same wavelength.
We had the same wavelength, and he pitched GI Joe coming back with it, and so we brainstormed for a while, and he's trying to decide what size to make these new figures, and they did go at 6 inches for a while, or 8 inches, and marketing decided at Hasbro that the figures should be the same size as Star Wars figures
Oh.
because Star Wars was doing so well.
It's taken off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about the timeline. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead.
And so he pitched to doing GI Joe on that side. From there, I was basically assigned to do the figure line
Wow.
for GI Joe the first year. I forgot the amount. I think it might have been 12 figures I had to decide. And yeah, so we didn't even know that GI Joe would even do well. You know, it just it just took off.
Oh my
You
God.
know, so after it took off, I was assigned to do the following year, and then I worked on it. GI Joe from 1982 to 1987, mid 87, and I asked to be taken off the line.
Yeah.
But altogether, I designed 120 figures for GI Joe.
Oh my God. What are the challenges with just like designing that many figures? I think about like being an artist, designing 100 of something
Yeah,
can be really challenging.
yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, it is challenging, and you have to think about it. And we have brainstorm meetings, and ideas are thrown out there of what we should be doing. and I had free reign to do whatever I wanted.
Oh wow. How special as an artist, right? Like you're like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I mean, I could do anything I want.
Yeah.
Good guys and bad guys. And so I, uh, Cobra wasn't invented until probably the second year of GI Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed some bad guys in the line,
Yep. I remember hearing stories about
and
that.
a friend of Larry Hama's, I can't think of his name right now, but he's the one that came up. Why don't you do a terrorist group called Cobra, or something like that?
Yeah.
I was assigned to draw or come up with the logo for Cobra. So the Cobra you see walking around here
Yes.
is mine.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So I did the Cobra logo. I did several other logos too, but they were for product,
Yeah.
like Sky Striker logo and Dragonfly, and the Mare. I got to design some vehicles as well.
God.
I designed the Mare, the Fang, Serpentor sled. Uh, I don't know. It's just so many different things
I know, so
that
many.
came up with.
Well, and what's it like to be, I mean, an artist who, especially in events like this, like you make the joke like a lot of artists and appreciated while
Yeah.
the artist is still alive. And you're here at Fayetteville Comic Con, you're walking around. I mean, I've seen several people with the Cobra logo already.
Right.
That was really what struck me when you said that. I was like, wow, like, what is that like? How does that feel? Like, just seeing
Well,
your work so celebrated.
it's nice to see my logo, and it's everywhere, and
It's true.
it's people get tattoos. Yeah,
It's right.
people get tattoos on themselves, and it's on T-shirts. It's everywhere. I mean, seeing it on the internet. There's an army battalion that uses Cobra logo. Yeah, and it just amazes me because it's over 40 years old now,
Oh, yeah.
and it's withstood everything. I mean, they're even doing the figures over now.
Yeah, it's true.
They're doing the classified 6-inch figures. They're a lot more detailed, but at a 6-inch size, you can put all the detail you want in them.
Yeah.
And at 3 3/4 inch size, you can't.
No, yeah.
You know
Exactly. There's just literally not much space to add the detail.
what the new designer is doing? He's taking the 6-inch figures, and he's taking my figures I did at 3 3/4, and just kind of blowing it up and changing it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Put more
but they're
paint
still-
on it. I'm
still
kidding. I'm
based-
kidding.
They're still based off of the figure I did.
Of course.
You know? So, it's pretty good. It's a nice legacy to have. You know?
It really is.
Nice to be remembered for.
Oh my gosh, it sure is.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us. So obviously, like you created this iconic line. It's almost silly for me to ask you this question. What are there other things you'd like to share, or other things that maybe people don't know that you did that you want? You're like, no, GI Joe's enough for me. That's fine.
I don't know.
That's fine.
Working
It-
on various.
Follow-ups.
I'm working on wrestling figures too.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you saying you worked on a lot of wrestling
Your
figures.
event need for the judging criteria, which is set.
Well, I worked on a team of like 4 people,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and we did WWF wrestling figures. We went down to WWF headquarters down Connecticut, talked with the people down there. I have 2 cases of WWF figures sitting at home, and those are going to my youngest son because he was into that when he was a kid. And I'm working on another set of wrestling figures for somebody else besides Hasbro.
Oh,
It's called Zombie Sailor.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah, Zombie Sailor, and it's a kind of a neat thing because on the package is the design of the character I did. Plus, up in the corner of the package, it'll say "Designed by the legend Ron Rudat." And then you turn it over, it's got my drawing I did for him of the figure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's gotta be so cool seeing your name there in print, the legend.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, it's been a pretty good career.
Wonderful. Well, I want to take a moment to just shout out because we have some friends here in the chat, and our friend Jonas Brasco has said it seems like the vehicles and the weapons would just be such a blast to design.
Yeah, okay. You don't have to make a real existing weapon.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy weapon.
Yeah.
Based off of original, but it's not the original. You know?
Yeah. It can be whatever you come up with versus
Yeah.
like if you're making a person, we have some expectations.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, the legend, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us
You're very
today. Do you do like social media or are there places you want people to find you or anything? You're just I just like being here.
I'm on Facebook.
Oh, great. Okay.
But I don't post a lot of toy stuff.
Yeah, that's just
Probably
you and your
no
life.
toy stuff.
Yeah, I understand.
I will be in Dallas, Texas at the end of June at the
Texas.
DFW comic book show, GI Joe show.
Wonderful.
In Natick, Mass. About a week after that, I will be in Orlando, Florida in September.
Ooh, in September. Okay. What show's going over there in September?
Pardon?
I was going to say, what show is in Orlando in September?
Is it?
I'll look it up later.
Fat Boy.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's what it's called, Fat Boy Comic Con.
Cool.
And I will be in Tennessee in October at ICCC convention, which is basically a Star Wars convention, and I'm the only GI Joe guy there.
Yeah. Well, you're still going to be able to talk about that Star Wars tie-in that we were talking about before. Yeah.
And then in November, I'll be in New Orleans.
Awesome. Wonderful. So if you are in one of those cities, you just keep your eye out. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining and
You're very
chatting.
welcome.
And everybody, we're going to be right back with another guest here shortly.